Spoiler alert.
Welcome to Spoiler Alert. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Dustin.
We have a twofer for you today, in which I get to tell Dustin all about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and then we're going to get to what is essentially the front runner of my favorite film of 2022, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, so let's talk about Sonic 2. So, I am a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. It was one of my all-time favorite games. I love Sonic 2. If you want to talk about replay value on a game, Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 are it for me. Like, I even told the story of how I was broken down in a seedy area and Sonic 2 was keeping my sanity while waiting for a jump.
Yeah, I sort of dial out at Sonic 3. I feel like Sonic 1's classic, Sonic 2 is like, to me, peak nostalgic Sonic for me personally. And then once Knuckles shows up and then, into Sonic 3, I kind of feel like they lost me a little bit. Whatever.
My die-off factor is when Sonic gets the Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure and all that. I wish I liked those games more, but they didn't quite click with me because
I'll do you one better. How about Sonic CD?
Oh, Sonic CD. I have never played Sonic CD.
I have. It's literally called Sonic CD.
Yeah.
For the Sega CD system, which was an add-on to the Genesis.
But as for my opinion on the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it's perfectly fine. It actually treats the game lore really well. I love the human characters in this movie. They're not annoying. They're not like, say, Marky Mark in the Transformers movies, who's an inventor from Texas with a Boston accent or anything like that. But what was important was they had Sonic down to a science. It's just that they designed Sonic to look like a crystal meth addict for some reason.
Oh, yeah. It was like a washed up squirrel.
Yeah.
Blue squirrel.
Yeah, and then they turned around and did crunch time to it to make it look like the game, which thus caused people to be overworked, and then the visual effects studio eventually closed down. But that's kind of like the sad story of it, but they did such a great job. They actually listened. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but my issues with Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, is that it's one of those movies that is basically Alvin and the Chipmunks, but watchable, in which they have a bunch of shitty fart jokes. And then there's a god-awful running bit about Olive Garden throughout it. And by the end of the movie, I was like, I swear to God, if I hear Olive Garden one more fucking time, I am going to scream. It's like...
That's awesome.
It's like Olive Garden marketing executives wrote this movie. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, on the other hand, is actually pretty good.
Nice.
I mean, it's not going on the favorite films list or anything like that, but it's still pretty good. I was actually impressed. This is a love letter to the original 16-bit games in which you bring in the lore. You're bringing in the lore. You're paying tribute to Aquatic Ruin Zone from Sonic 2. You see the exact plane from Sky Chase Zone in Sonic 2. The final battle.
That's cool.
The final battle being the Death Egg, basically the Death Egg robot in Sonic 2. And then there's a subplot where they're skiing in Siberia. But let's be real. It's Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3.
Right. Of course.
True story. I actually did a mashup of the Ice Cap Zone music because I love that theme music so much. And then I mashed it up with Rihanna's vocals from Disturbia. And it actually sounded really fucking good. But
yeah, you'd have to send me that.
But sadly, it's lost to time as it was on my old college laptop that died 3 years ago. I
You
should
could
have
have
saved
been
that
the original Girl Talk.
right? I think Girl
Come
Talk
on,
was
man.
around when I made it.
Well, you could have stole his thunder.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good video game, a good video game tune. I don't think video game tunes get worked into remixes and pop tunes, as much as they should. There should totally be. I remember a buddy of mine I lived with in LA. He was a musician, roommate. He remixed one of Katy Perry's songs. I believe it was Teenage Dream. Might have been California Girl. Don't know. One of Katy Perry's songs, but he used one of the tracks from Mario Kart. And he tweeted her the remix and she tweeted him back. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Another fun remix I did once upon a time ago was the song All New Materials by Periphery mashed up with Drake's acapella from Over. And that actually sounded really fucking good.
Yeah.
And I was just doing this for
bangers. Fun. Yeah. Totally.
Bangers, and going back to what I'm saying about how Sonic 2 actually does well by paying tribute to the fans, and it doesn't come off as pandering. It treats you with actual respect. I know this is going to be weird to say, and it's an extremely low bar to clear, but this is the Spider-Man 2 of video game movies.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah. I know video game movies are an extremely low bar to clear, but I had a lot of fun watching this movie. And even Tom Holkenborg, who's one of my favorite composers right now, even incorporated the hurry up music when Sonic's underwater and you have that countdown going, and you hear that orchestral arrangement. I'm like, they really did their homework here. I can appreciate this. And another thing I really did like about this is that they kind of toned down the cynical fart jokes and product placement. Yeah, there are a couple here and there, but it wasn't like, for fuck's sake, I swear to God, if I hear Olive Garden one more time, I am going to fucking scream.
Wait, I don't get it. Is there a recurring Olive Garden gag?
Yeah, in Sonic 1. I talked about this earlier.
Yeah. Crazy.
And another thing they did that deserves praise is they brought Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who does the voice of Tails in the modern video games, to voice Tails in this movie. And I think that was cool. That is beyond cool to bring in someone that has a knowledge of the character, is an actual voice actor, and not give Chris Pratt another voice gig.
Oh, God.
Because I am beyond worried about Super Mario Brothers.
I mean, you're definitely going to be seeing it.
Yeah, I'm going to be seeing it because I'm a Mario fan too. Mm-hmm. But there's just something about Chris Pratt voicing Mario when Charles Martinet is still around that just kind of bothers me. And apparently Charles Martinet is doing additional voices, so he's probably going to do like, let's go, or woohoo, or something like that. He'll be credited for stuff like that.
Yeah. I think they just hired all of those people to look good on a one sheet, for the firepower. Yeah. And so I think that's where we're at. I mean, I don't know. Isn't there an Italian actor who's playing Luigi?
I have no idea who's playing Luigi. Let's go ahead and look that up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too. Charlie Day. Oh boy,
Charlie Day. That I love actually.
I mean, yeah, but it's not. I mean, is Charlie Day Italian?
No, but Charles Martinet isn't Italian either.
Oh, okay.
He's French Canadian. I can. So
it doesn't really matter.
I can legitimately see Charlie Day playing Luigi.
Sure,
but Chris Pratt,
Luigi-esque.
But Chris Pratt, I really don't see in that role. And
isn't Donkey Kong in the movie too?
I have no idea about that.
I think so. I think it is. I just saw the director of Sonic 2 said that they want to have a Super Smash Brothers film where Sonic and Mario go toe to toe in the ring against each other.
That would actually be pretty cool, especially given how
Makes
well of a
sense.
job Jeff Fowler did with both of these movies, especially given the crunch time the VFX people had to go through, and how he's able to seamlessly blend the CGI and live action perfectly with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they banged this one out pretty fucking quick because Sonic 1 was the last, like when the world ended, right, in 2020, here in Chicago, all the posters in our post-apocalyptic cityscape here, all the bus stop posters and little, movie posters in the alleyways were all Sonic because that was the last movie to kind of come out, mainstream movie to kind of come out before the fucking pandemic hit. And then once the pandemic hit, obviously that first year was pretty rough, right? So those posters were just up forever.
Yeah, and that and The Invisible Man were the last two films I saw before the pandemic hit in theaters.
I forgot about The Invisible Man. Good movie.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
I actually did a video on the opening scene that got a surprising amount of praise. I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
And then the villains here actually work too. Idris Elba is letter perfect as Knuckles. That is exactly who I picture Knuckles sounding like. That suave but intimidating British badass type voice. And Idris Elba has it down in spades. And he gets an actual arc in this film. He goes from being the villain of this movie, in which he has a valid reason to do so. He's at war with Longclaw's tribe at the beginning of the film, and he blames Sonic because of his affiliation with Longclaw, who, and I don't know much about Longclaw. That's probably a character that's like really deep cuts in the Dreamcast games. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. And to be honest, I feel like when I don't know, Sega always had a reputation of cutting corners and rushing things out. So when Sonic, the first one came out, even the second one, it was clear that they were aiming shots fired at Mario, right? Shots fired at the Mushroom Kingdom. Bop, bop, bop. Like they were coming for the main mascot thing, but it was cool because it was different and different colors and different, like, this thing could run really fast. And then in Sonic 2, they did all the, you could run in a circle. Oh my God, he's upside down and blah, all these fucking things. And they kind of rushed it. So I don't know, like, I know Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and then I know there's like a darker version of Sonic and there's
Shadow. We'll get to that a little later.
Sure.
So yeah, basically Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, exactly. And Nintendo was always stuck in their ways.
While we're on the subject of badass, I actually kind of like Jim Carrey in this too. Like, he actually is a little more intimidating in this. And if he is retiring, this is kind of a good note for him to go out on. Because...
yeah. I mean, with the thing with Jim Carrey is, again, Dr. Robotnik was kind of a one-note goon in the games. It was just this he guy who looked like, he might finger your mom or something at a book club and rub it in your face, right? But other than that, there was really no... I mean, what did he do? He built like really shitty robots that could be flicked with a fucking penny or something and they blow up apart. So I mean, he was just a very like kind of one note. So to have Jim Carrey take that and slowly transition into the video game accurate version of Dr. Robotnik is pretty fucking cool, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite Sonic Sat AM because there were two different Sonic the Hedgehog shows. One is Sonic Sat AM, which was basically a grounded and serious take on Sonic the Hedgehog, and the other was The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was basically the dumbed down kiddie version, wherein one of the public service announcements is, I'm dead fucking serious. Don't get into a dryer. I'm not joking. Look this up.
Wow. I mean, so one was a Monday through Friday and one was a Saturday morning.
Exactly.
Same thing with Mario, dude. Remember the fucking weird live action, like
the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albano.
Right. But then the Saturday morning was a completely different version.
Yeah.
Dude, I love stuff like this.
Yeah. They wanted to get their product out immediately to people in our demographic when we were kids.
But it was very confusing because they're doing it two separate ways. Why not just hire one or the other and roll with that for 7 days?
Exactly.
That live action one, they were like in Mario's apartment or something, and they'd be like hanging out, like eating pizza or trying to fix a pipe, or I think they might have had like girls over or something in one of them, and it was like basically like Up All Night, but like with the
celebrity, whoever the celebrity personality was of the day, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen the show
weird, dude.
But I remembered watching it religiously as a kid for some odd
pop
reason.
Culture fucking blast.
Yeah. And then
the god-awful Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Which Bob Hoskins regretted doing.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Look at that thing.
Yeah. I remembered watching that when I was like 8 years old because I was so 8 or 9 years old when that movie came out. And I remember being so stoked about a Super Mario Brothers movie. And I was like, even at 9 years old, I was like, this movie is absolute dog shit.
I mean, to look back now and realize that Dennis fucking Hopper played the main baddie. It wasn't King Koopa, was it?
It was Koopa.
Okay, so he played the main, or was it Bowser? Either or. I can't remember because whatever, but it's Dennis fucking Hopper in a Mario Brothers movie. Like, the shit is bonkers. And they were like New York City plumbers, and they had the special fucking boots at the end that made them fucking jump real high.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie was horrible, but there was some weird connection between the movie and then that. So now you had 3 versions. So if you're a child at this point, you're really confused. You're playing the Nintendo version of Sonic or Mario or whatever your choice is. Then you have the Monday through Friday version. Then you have the Saturday version. Now you have a movie version. Like, let's really confuse them until all their money comes out of their shoes.
Exactly. And then you have Jim Carrey when he builds the Death Egg robot in the third act, starting the final battle to the tune of Walk by Pantera. And I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty fucking cool. And he's being full on Jim Carrey, but intimidating during this.
Right.
Because he's not sleepwalking for this. He's giving this 100% his all.
Right.
You could tell he really wanted to do this movie. Because you can tell when Jim Carrey's really sleepwalking through a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it happens, right? Like with Jim Carrey. You know, I mean, I'm sure it happens with anybody. They got shit going on in their life and they're just doing a paycheck film or whatever, dude. I get it. But for Jim Carrey, he is a consummate fucking professional usually. You know, you paid for Jim Carrey? Well, guess what? You're gonna get Jim Carrey. Which I think is fucking super cool. And when he was cast as Robotnik in the first film, people are like, oh, what the hell? He's not even fat, you know, or whatever their bullshit was.
And when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, he's gonna tank this fucking movie. Oh my god,
right.
He is the worst possible thing to happen. And then here he comes, proving me wrong. Like,
right. And in this one, he's bald and has the mustache and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And then the main plot of the film is that Knuckles and Robotnik are looking for the Master Emerald, which is basically all 7 Chaos Emeralds combined together. And they find the Master Emerald, which causes Robotnik to build the Death Egg robot from Sonic 2 in the third act. And then just when you think all hope is gone with Sonic the Hedgehog, he turns into motherfucking Super Sonic.
Nice.
It's like one of those cool little fuck yeah fan moments that doesn't feel pandering and that feels genuinely sincere. And then the other really good thing I liked about this is the reveal of Shadow the Hedgehog in the post-credits scene.
Nice.
Which is like, okay, I hope we can get like a more grounded Sonic 3 out of this, because bringing in Shadow the Hedgehog is actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're diving into that lore that you talked about.
Yeah, and that could also tie into whether or not Carrie retires or not, because Shadow, I believe, was mostly his own antagonist.
Yeah, I don't remember, because now we're getting into like the gray Sonic. Then all of a sudden there's like a pink female Sonic that pops up, and then at some point there's like a robot Sonic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
There's like a lot of Sonic lore, but as for my issues with this film, this is less Sonic Sat AM and more The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Wherein there's this scene while they're in Siberia, and there's this guy who's like big and intimidating, complete with a tattoo of himself on his chest. And then it turns into a dance-off in which they're playing Siberian music. And then Sonic the Hedgehog pulls out his iPhone, because we gotta have that Apple product placement. And then he's like, DJ, hit it. And then fucking Uptown Funk plays. The moment I heard boom, 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 which has become such a cliche in modern kids' movies. Just the mere appearance of Uptown Funk. Don't get me wrong, I really love that song, but it's one of those overplayed cliches.
Yeah,
because you will hear that really often in a family film. I mean, you couldn't just think from the 90s, like what you were listening to earlier, like say Everybody Dance Now or something like that.
Or like Dua Lipa remix or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe they ran out of money. Well, actually, no, because Bruno Mars is not cheap.
Bruno Mars ain't cheap.
No, yeah. So Uptown Funk is like your fucking pizza party, fucking family time song for sure. That's fucked up that it became that way. Yeah.
And that's the thing about Uptown Funk. It's like widely accessible from ages 1 to 101.
Yeah.
To the point that it's like, I love the song, but I have to be in a mood to listen to it because of its overplay. Whereas something like Bad Guy by Billie Eilish or Don't Stop Now by Dua Lipa, if I hear those songs, I'm going to want to turn those up.
Right. You want to jam out a little bit.
Yeah. If we're talking modern pop music, that is.
Yeah, for sure. You know, then, they could have played Let the Bodies Hit the Floor or something at this point. And, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like what they should have did in the first Morbius fight scene. Because I was like, if this were released in 2005, Jared Leto would be fighting to bodies by drowning pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fucking corn and shit.
Yeah. And then there's my other issue is the B plot. While I do like the fact that this is the core focus of this film is on Sonic the Hedgehog, we still got to incorporate Tom Wachowski, Sonic's caretaker, into this, who's played by James
Marsden. Yeah.
Marsden. I think it is James Marsters.
I don't know. Again, let me jump over to our assistant on spoiler alert. Google
MDB.
James Marsden.
Oh,
James Marsters is what you said, right?
Yeah. James Marsters is Spike from Buffy. They just have very similar sounding names.
Yes, so very close. James Marsden is the guy you're referring to, right?
Yeah. And then
he was Cyclops in X-Men.
Yeah. And he's married to Tika Sumpter. And they're in Hawaii right now, thanks to Sonic the Hedgehog throwing one of the rings to get them to Hawaii for their sister-in-law's wedding.
Nice.
And it's this B plot where it's like, you could easily trim 10 minutes of this. So the sister-in-law is basically getting married to Shamar Moore because he needs a break from CBS procedurals.
Wow, welcome to Sonic.
It turns out that he's a federal agent, and this is an extremely convoluted plan. So you got to factor in that Shamar Moore knows all about the ring technology, that everybody's going to be there, and Shamar Moore and his agency decides to kidnap Sonic and Tails.
Kidnap?
Yeah. Because of, well, the U.S. government and all that shit. They wanted to know about Sonic and Tails.
Of course they did.
And they locked them up for a while. And then you have hilarious antics with the sister-in-law going after Shamar Moore for ruining her wedding. And Shamar Moore is depicted as nothing more than a perfect specimen of a man. And he's got like his frat bro groomsmen around him. And I'm saying to myself, I want to like this B plot, but it is going nowhere.
Right.
Like, if you cut 10 minutes out of this, like, this could go somewhere. Because it's just over convoluted for what it's trying to be, and it's taking away from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy, I know you hate him, but your boy John Campion said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you hate him, but
I didn't hear that. But yeah, you could easily trim 10 minutes out of that whole wedding sequence, and it would have been at least a 4 out of 5 movie. But overall, I did enjoy Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I kind of want to see where Sonic 3 goes, and I hope Sonic 3 is more Sat AM and less The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
Because Ben Schwartz is really good as Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I dare say, at times he surpasses Julia White, who actually voiced Sonic in both of those cartoons. And that's kind of a weird voice choice that actually works. Steve Urkel playing Sonic.
In both cartoons? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Super crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird voice choice, but it totally worked for the cartoons. Whereas Ben Schwartz works with the movies. And yes, he incorporates John Ralphio's The Worst bit from Parks and Rec. Because he's also John Ralphio. And some of his jokes land, some don't. But I really do like him as Sonic the Hedgehog. And you can tell he's a voice actor. Like, he's taking this seriously. This isn't like, say, a Chris Pratt situation where they just casted him because he's an A-lister. Because since Parks and Rec, he has done voiceover work for the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, DuckTales cartoon. Like, he clearly cares about voice acting. And he does have that type of voice that lends well to voice acting.
Yeah, I mean, everything about the promos and shit comes off really crystal clear.
Yeah. But as it is, I'm retooling Ryan Watches to do like a whole bunch of reviews in one video. So I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5 because I like this a lot better than the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but it's still stuck pandering to children when it's time to actually go full Sonic Sat AM.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, this thing made 71 million in opening weekend, so that's
Exactly.
insane.
And beat the shit out of Morbius, which we called it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I said flat out, this is going to have a Batman v Superman level drop, and it made less money its second weekend than Batman v Superman.
apparently the only drop worse than Morbius in the superhero genre is Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
Yeah.
That's what I read today.
I couldn't believe that I saw that. But at the same time, I was like, yep, that sounds about right. All right. So now that we got Sonic the Hedgehog out of the way, let's get to straight away the front runner for my favorite film of 2022. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be hard to even talk about.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this one very brief because, yeah, we'll talk about a few key plot points, but I really do not want to spoil this movie. I want people to go in and see this.
Yeah, go see it. I mean, come on, go see it. That's pretty good. It's a wonderful movie. It's fun. It's funny, sure, but like, man, the emotional stuff is just really dead on. It's fucking great.
I feel so sorry for Sam Raimi because this movie kicked my ass when I watched it. The screen I watched this on didn't do this film justice. It was playing in one of the tiny theaters at Franklin Park when they have like an indie film there. And I was like, I wish I was watching this in IMAX. I wish I was watching this on at least the Cinemark XD screen.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on a smaller screen too, but it wasn't, I mean, I don't know. I saw it in the theater. It wasn't that small, but it was small. But it worked,
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know what Everything Everywhere All at Once is, to sum it up, imagine if Monty Python wrote The Matrix and you have this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say if there's a woman who is unsure of where she's at in her life, like a lot of us are, right?
She's a frazzled laundromat owner who wants to be a novelist, who is an aspiring singer, just wants to be somebody. But her laundromat is struggling, and she's dealing with the pressures of her daughter being a lesbian against her traditional father, played by the legendary James Hong.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Daniels told Disney to fuck off.
Yeah. Well, and this normal person gets introduced to the multiverse where anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the angles this film takes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in my theater was sobbing, but then also like seconds later would be laughing, and then seconds later would be sobbing again. So
yeah. But another thing we gotta talk about is how fucking badass Ke Quan is in this film.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, this is his first American motion picture in decades. And he comes back and he masters this character. He's basically the mild-mannered beta husband to Evelyn. But he will switch to basically Morpheus at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
He'll basically tell Evelyn, oh, I'm from the Alphaverse. This is what you need to do. This is how you download your skills and techniques. This is how you do this. And then you get to one of the first major fight scenes with Ke Quan, and it involves a fanny pack.
Because, of course.
It is probably one of the coolest scenes I've seen in any movie in the past 10 years. Like, just the sheer amount of mastery in choreography this film has.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of it. There's a ton of it.
And apparently the guys Daniels got were a couple YouTubers who had no real stunt choreography experience. And I wouldn't have guessed this.
Yeah, well, and I think you'd be wrong to guess anything, right?
Mhm.
Like this movie does keep it real. Like it definitely keeps it fun and interesting that way. And I love well, you could do it either way. I love large stories that play out on a small scale, or small scale stories that play out on a large scale. To me, you know what I mean? Like where it's someone and their boss having a disagreement, and that's the movie. Or, you know, Better Call Saul pulls that shit off, right?
Yeah.
It's this little lawyer with a fucking retirement home thing that's happening. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and that it turns in, and somehow they make you care about it. I love that shit. And this film, while it's about the fate of the multiverse as we know it, you know, it's really about someone and their daughter.
Yeah. That's
the daughter, the actor who played the daughter steals the fucking show for me.
Yeah.
She was
Stephanie Sue is giving already one of my favorite performances of the year. And this is apparently her first major role.
What else was she in? She's been in something else.
Yeah, let me see. She was in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Aquafina as Nora from Queens and Shang-Chi.
Okay.
So which goes to my next point, actually. This was what I wanted Shang-Chi to be. Like that medium budget movie that more or less focused on the son and father relationship and not like a big CGI boss battle at the end.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's commentary on Shang-Chi is the same. What a fucking great movie. They weren't scared to make Shang-Chi to come out and say that he did murder someone in cold blood for his dad. You know, great on Marvel to keep that in there, right? Because it makes him kind of a bad person a little bit, whatever. The dad, the son and the dad fight at the end, sick as fuck, but like we don't need the fucking dragon at the end. Like that, you know, everyone felt the same way as you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's a very cold take, but I sat there in the theater and I was like, there is a fucking 5-star film here.
Yeah.
That involves Simu Liu and Tony Leung. That's more in tone with Daredevil. Yeah, sure, you can have the Legend of the Ten Rings and all that. But I'm sitting here and it's like, this is more of the same. Like, switch it up a little bit.
Right.
And then we get to Jamie Lee Curtis as Deirdre. Who is this IRS agent, and she absolutely nails this role. She's basically like this hardcore Karen type with a wrist sling on her arms, who's just your regular everyday bastard IRS agent.
Right.
But what's interesting is in another alternate reality where they have hot dogs for fingers. I am not making this up. They are both Deirdre and Evelyn, the main character of this film, played by Michelle Yeoh, are lovers.
Right. Yeah, and there's you could really derive a lot out of that. And you know, that brings me to the best line of the film, but also probably one of the best lines that will be remembered for years to come in cinema. And it goes something like this. I probably won't nail it exactly, but I'll get close. In a stupid universe where we all have hot dogs for fingers, we learn to get really good with our feet.
Yeah. And there's this really cool scene where Jamie Lee Curtis is playing piano with her feet, and they have this wonderful relationship together. They're having the time of their lives. They're clearly happy together. And I just love it when Jamie Lee Curtis is giving an A+ performance. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he dropped two banger performances in 3 years as present day Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018, and then as Deirdre in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, and she kills this part. You could tell she's enjoying herself. She's playing a villain, and it's insane. Like it's, I mean, again, I know we don't want to give spoilers, but Jesus, like the amount of oh my god or like hilarity. You know, what a great turn for an actor. How much fun would that be as an actor?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And apparently Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to get on the wires. I was watching all the behind the scenes stuff, like the Vanity Fair stuff, like Daniels breaks down this scene or Michelle Yeoh breaks down this scene. And I was surprised as to how hands-on Jamie Lee Curtis was with this character. She was the one who suggested the wrist splint. She wanted to get on the wires personally. And I was like, she's 100% committed to this. Bravo. Yeah. And then you go into the worlds of this movie, in which, without spoilers, Ratatouille is a key plot point in this movie.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
And when it plays out, it's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. The whole fucking movie is amazing.
Yeah. And then you have a world where it's basically Michelle Yeoh playing herself. And this movie is playing out. This martial arts movie is playing out in 2:35. And then credits roll. And I'm like, is the movie over? And then it cuts to applause in the audience. And I'm like, oh my God, this is actually pretty cool. And without spoilers, there's a lot going on between Evelyn and her husband in that universe too, which I find really fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And then I love the big reveal that the Ultimate Universe, built by Jobu Tupaki, is centered around an everything bagel.
Yeah, I mean, and the speech gives, that's where the movie hits one of its central points, you know?
Yeah. Because at the center of this film is the relationship between Evelyn and her daughter, trying to come to terms with what her daughter is going through. And the daughter is so badass in this film. Like, there's a scene where she turns a person's head into confetti, and it's one of the coolest images ever. It's basically a one perfect shot screen on Twitter. Totally. Straight away. There are so many iconic shots in this film that you can't help but love it. I was even compelled by the Rock universe, where they're rocks. They're sitting there as rocks. One of them has googly eyes, and it's just plain text that pops up. And it's still fucking hilarious.
I mean, and it comes back more than once.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then you have James Hong in this movie. This guy is a fucking legend. And he's like, what, in his 90s now? And this is a man who's been in so many iconic roles. Blade Runner. He was the Chinese restaurant owner in Seinfeld. He was in Big Trouble in Little China. He was Cassandra's dad in Wayne's World 2. Like, this guy is the man. I love this guy. And for him, in his 90s, to deliver this insanely good performance as this senile, stuck in his ways grandfather, but much like the husband in this film, will switch into Morpheus.
Right.
It's just so cool to see him in a major role like this, getting top billing alongside Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan and Jamie Lee Curtis, when he's mostly a supporting actor.
Yeah, I mean, and he totally fucking he just nails it, like with the little that they give him. And I'm glad they give him more than you think he's gonna get, because he does nail it. He does come through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so on brand.
Yeah. And my thing is, I just get a feeling that this is going to be this year's Green Knight in the Last Duel. It's going to get completely shut out at the Oscars.
Yeah, unfortunately, probably. I just
because
heard
A24 really doesn't like doing the whole Oscar thing. Like they'll campaign certain people or certain movies. Like say they campaign Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth, but the Academy really isn't big on A24 because there are several movies, there are several nominations A24 films should have gotten. Specifically, Toni Collette as Best Actress in Hereditary. I will never live that down.
right.
Fuck that snub. That was worse than Mark Rylance getting the Oscar over Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I'm just going to say this. I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to drop because this is going to be the first modern movie I do a Criterion Collection video on. This is an all-timer. This is one of those movies that I know I'm going to watch probably 5 more times by the end of the year. And I'm probably going to round 2 this next week.
Well, if it's in town, sure, right?
Yeah,
you know
exactly. So indie movies in Toledo usually come and go. I was legit surprised Toledo got this because here I was preparing to drive to Ann Arbor with gas prices being what they were to go see this at the State Theater. I was like, let's just wait this out. And sure enough, it played in Toledo. I was like, thank God. And it played on Thursday night when I was off. So fuck yes.
Yeah, nice. Good one.
Okay, so Dustin, what would you give this movie?
Oh boy. Out of 5, right?
Yep.
Is it 5 stars or 5 popcorns or what are
5 stars.
What are we doing? I forgot what we do on this show.
5 stars.
So I would give this. I felt like I went in with too high of expectations. I don't know why it's were automatic. Oh, it's so amazing or whatever, and it's true, it is. But I hate when I do that. You know what I mean? When I go in and it's just astronaut, whatever. So I would, for that reason, I would probably give this. Do we do half stars or just full stars? Okay. So I don't know. I always forget. I would give this a 4.5.
There you go. There you go. Because going back to what you said, that was how I felt about Licorice Pizza. Because when I saw the trailers for this, I was like, this looks like my kind of movie. I love hangout movies. And then I go in and I was colossally disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought, I was like, okay, cool. It's going to be a multiverse film. It's going to be a normal lady bouncing around the multiverse. Cool. I get it. And that's what it was. Right. But then because of the emotional resonance and like none of it matters stuff, it's all just a swirling bucket of bullshit. Like all of that, that's the real film to me. Yeah. The other stuff is cool. Like you said, the fanny pack and the bagel, like those are great. They're fun. They're creative. It's eye candy, whatever. But I was expecting that, right? But like the emotional side is why I'm really in that seat. You know?
Exactly. Me too. Like
because we're all going through this existential crisis, you know? Yeah,
and Daniel's actually put out this really cool little thread on Twitter in which they talked about how this was their love letter to the world and how we've all been going through a lot these past couple of years. And it's genuinely wonderful to read, which is why.
I mean, it's the perfect coming out of the pandemic film. It really is.
Yeah. There's a genuine sincerity. There's a genuine sincerity to this film.
Yeah, that's why it gets such a high rating. If I knew nothing about it and someone said, I want to take you to this movie, I mean, it would probably wind up being a 5. And I know that's an unfair thing to say.
Yeah.
But I'm only docking it because of my own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I do myself. That's why I give the Batman a 4.5 because I have minor nitpicks with it. I went in with extremely high expectations and I wanted to taper them. But with everything everywhere all at once, not only did this film meet my expectations, it succeeded them.
Yeah.
This is getting a 6 out of 5 from me. Criterion Collection is 6 out of 5.
Nice. Nice. That's great. It
Like
deserves it.
once I get things going again, because I have a lot of things going on in my personal life that I wish to not disclose. I'm going to get back into Beetlemovia, and the first 3 Criterion entries are going to be Hard Day's Night, Help, and Yellow Submarine. All 6 out of 5 movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get to Dogma, which is another 6 out of 5 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I want to break away from doing the whole nostalgia critic screaming into the microphone kind of thing and talk about things I love.
Sure.
And Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of those videos I know I'm going to do a Criterion on, because I want to talk about this more in depth,
right?
More analytical. Like, I basically want to study this movie, because this is a damn near flawless film. And this is Daniels' second film, because their last film was Paul Dano riding on Harry Potter's corpse. And then prior to that, they directed the Lil Jon music video for Turn Down for What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's like,
That's weird.
And if this is their second movie, I want to see where they go from here.
For sure.
Fuck. Those two are insane together.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I mean, and hopefully, like you said, hopefully this gets some love. I mean, I see celebrities. I saw who did I see? I saw Halsey come out and put a big post on social media about how she saw it, and it was incredible. It's the best movie she's seen all year so far, and that everyone needs to go see it now and demand that they play it in more theaters. So, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Getting love from big celebs.
Mm-hmm. But I just sat there most of the time with my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
As to how great this film was.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. And again, it keeps you entertained, but it also it connects with you. It sort of says to you, like, hey, you're not alone. We made this crazy movie because we feel the same way you do.
Mm-hmm. And
I love that.
I think that's the note we're going to end on, because I want to keep this very brief. Please go support this movie. I fucking adore Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Yeah. If you're in Toledo, go next week, because it'll probably be out of there. I beg of you, go see this movie.
And if you're here in Chicago, it's playing across the city at multiple places, so you have no excuse.
There you go. You guys probably got it first.
Yeah, we've had it a while, and I wanted to see it, and then when you said, "Hey, go see Morbius," we'll do an episode on that, and there's a few theaters within walking distance, and there's one just right here on the corner, and so I was like, "Wow, this is fucking easy." I hadn't been there since like Black Widow or something last year, so I was like, I'll probably go this week and see something else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right there, and independent cinema, even in a city like Chicago, there was only like 10 people in my theater on a Saturday night. So come on, like, I've got to get it in while it's still there.
Oddly enough, my theater was packed.
That's awesome.
For Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was like halfway filled, and I was genuinely stoked by that.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's really cool. Really cool. And maybe it is because it's already been here, and we've had it under limited release here for like 2-3 weeks, so maybe that's why everyone's already seen it, whatever. But regardless, I mean, I plan on seeing there's a couple other independent films that I still want to see. The one called I think it's called like The Tailor or something coming that's out right now that I want to see. The Outfit, yeah, I heard that's really good.
Yeah, that was one that came and went, because I kind of wanted to see that too.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm definitely going to try and see The Northman.
Yep, me too.
Robert Eggers is fucking awesome.
100% I will see that.
Yeah. Because anytime I see that trailer, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the most badass movie ever, isn't it?
Well, and now, like, in addition, which I'm sure we'll do an episode about, so stay tuned, folks, but like they came out, was it yesterday, and said that the reason why they're acting so weird about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and not releasing the Thor trailer is because it's officially under Endgame level security threat. So like they don't want anything getting out about this film or whatever. So like that's coming out. I feel once that comes out, it's going to really detract from whatever indie films are out, probably diverting more people, because we're at a really cool spot with films where people are clearly, if Sonic, to wrap all of this up in a nice little bow for everybody, if Sonic made 71 million, you know, and I know Everywhere All at Once is underperforming, but you know, it's an indie film that was in limited release that might actually squeak through and break even. So if all of these things are happening, it suggests that people are seeing Sonic and Everything Everywhere All at Once and looking forward to Doctor Strange and going to see the North. So to me, it suggests two things. Film lovers love film like you and I, and also the movies are fucking back. The theater is back.
Yeah. 2022 is going to be a banger year for films too.
Yeah.
You got new Spielberg. Apparently, David Lynch has a surprise film coming out.
I saw that.
And I wouldn't normally be interested in a Barbie movie, but Greta Gerwig is directing it and Noah Baumbach is writing the script. I'm like, okay, go on.
Just signed Will Ferrell too. Weird.
Yeah. I really hope this is interesting.
Right.
Because that's actually a good pairing, especially given they're dating in real life. And
yeah,
I just get this feeling I'm probably going to end up doing a top 20 next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Because something tells me this is going to be a hyper competitive year for film. Because like you said, the movies are back, baby.
Yeah, totally. And you know, and they're back with a vengeance. If you've got indie films cranking out the quality and again, like I said, they're always going to underperform their indie fucking films, you know, but if the love from the internet can generate for Everything Everywhere, then maybe it does break even. And then that becomes a huge success story. Even if it doesn't make its money back, the artistic value of that we are even having the discussion where last week we talked about Morbius and this week we're talking about Everything Everywhere right up against with Sonic, like that says something to me.
Exactly.
So, you know, I think that we all waited for this huge resurgence, you know, when COVID was gone, and COVID's not gone, but yet here comes the resurgence of the films. It's just the movie theater, the comeback was just sort of staggered and delayed. It might be a little bit delayed, but the movies are fucking back.
Yeah, and it's a nice palate cleanser for the last two movies I watched with Morbius and then this movie on Netflix called The Bubble, which really fucking sucked, save for Maria Bakalova and Pedro Pascal.
Right.
And then I'm watching Sonic 2 and having a really good time with it. And then I'm outlining a Criterion Collection video for a recent movie, which if I'm doing a Criterion Collection because if I only have 6 movies I plan on doing for the 2010s with Criterion Collection, which I won't disclose. And this is the first modern movie that actively got my consideration to do this. It's like, I want to do a full video on this. I want to talk about how great this film is, how masterful this film is.
Yeah.
And this is their sophomore effort. That's just astounding to me.
Yeah, I mean, come on, right? Their second effort. Jesus, get out of here. And you know, the last thing I want to add too is while we're talking about directors and writers or whatever, maybe tee it up if you want to do, because I think we should do a separate video on it. We touched on it in the Morbius episode that we did a little bit, but like, I guess they announced today that the writers of the Madam Web are going to be the guys who wrote like Gods of Egypt or something. And like, you know, your buddy John Campea like went off on a rant today, like crazy rant, but I agree with every word he said. I mean, I think Sony, this is the strangest thing in the world. And I really think they're doing this on purpose. Something's not right. Something's not right. There's no way you get Dakota Johnson and
Sydney Sweeney.
Exactly. And now you go ahead and get guys who wrote Power Rangers. I mean, really batting like low D effort sort of films. There's just, I mean, something doesn't add up. And I say that you and I investigate it in an episode. So that could be a tease.
Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be an interesting roundtable, actually.
Exactly. That'd be amazing.
Like, get a couple other people involved in that.
I would love that.
All right. That being said, be sure to like, comment, share, spread the word of New Realms Media. Follow me on all my socials at New Realms Media. And until then, please go see Everything Everywhere all at once.